Hello all, and welcome to a very special little live stream that we're doing today. So I was asked by my father, Mark, to do a little live reading of his most recent graphic novel that's come out, with supporting artwork by his buddy Gaz of Escape Gallery in Mevagissey, which, yet again, we'll have some links and stuff like that in the description to, of course, showcase some of these things, so you can show your support. But we want to do something a little special for the release of the comic itself, the graphic novel. And we decided to do an Act 1 live reading, so there won't be any extra voices, any extra sound effects or anything like that sort. There will be a full video audiobook version coming with voice acting, sound effects, etc., in the near future. But for now, we wanted to kind of kick it off with a little bit of a simple reading. So let's jump into Lure of the Krakmoth. Beautiful. Look at that. Look at that incredible artwork. It's just fantastic, isn't it? The colors, it just really pops out, doesn't it? Sorry. Lure of the Krakmoth. In the distant, forgotten land of Kurna, where the sea air shimmers with ancient secrets and the land is steeped in myth, one man finds himself drawn into a mystery that could shatter reality itself. After taking advice to take a break by his doctor, the man finds himself lured into an adventurous journey. Set in the fictitious fishing village of Megantilly, the man's quest soon spirals into a world of dark magic, forbidden knowledge, and unearthly creatures. Beginning of Act 1. The soft white clouds of smoke billowed upwards into the rain-drenched air as the steam train purposefully pushed forward along the seemingly glistening, never-ending track. The 416 Kurna Express was running 15 minutes late, but the engineer, brimming with confidence that he would make up the lost time, rubbed his hands together in the bracing cold night air, took his oil-stained handkerchief and mopped his brow one more time. Behind him, the cars made their distinctive clack-clackety-clack sounds as they rumbled along in the cold, dank evening air. 13 among their number, a collection of compartments that housed a selection of somber-looking travelers, all earnest in their anticipation of the journey ahead. He was one of them. The man with the ruffled hair and slightly disheveled clothing. His forehead momentarily brushed against the cold glass of the window as he peered into the gloom outside. It was a Sunday evening when the sky was filled with a great thick canopy of clouds casting a greyness on the moving landscape below, and the whole scene looking like the world had been dipped in ink. Turning his attention back into the carriage, the man leaned forward in his seat as he spied the gentleman opposite rummaging amongst his pockets, trying to find something to light a cigarette. A light? He volunteered as he presented an old-school Zippo lighter, flicking it open with his thumb as he did so. Very kind, came the reply as the older man moved forward to take up the offer. With a tiny sense of self-satisfaction, the man now turned his gaze once more to the window of the train. This time, however, his eyes looked past the grey exterior to the little droplets of water which, upon first colliding with the glass, then darted away in a very disjointed way across and down. The zigzagging formed a pattern that became quite hypnotic and rendered the man into a momentary trance, allowing his mind to drift back to a different time some years before, when a similar but different substance danced in the same way upon a small plate as his fork poked and prodded and tried to capture the elusive slices bathed in oil. Pulpo, he muttered quietly to himself with a similar sense of satisfaction. I'm sorry? Came the voice of the old man, awakening him from his daydream. Oh, nothing, the man smiled. Just reminiscing about a time in Spain, a long, long time ago. Ah, remarked the curious observer. Spain! Beautiful country. The man looked pleased. Have you been? Oh yes, I was fortunate enough to have walked the Camino de Santiago. The great pilgrimage, really? It was now the man spotted a somewhat faded white collar, almost completely obscured by a purple woolen scarf. You're a man of the cloth, he quizzed with a surprised tone. I am, my son, the man confirmed with a sardonic smile. He started rummaging again, fishing for cigarettes, as though to celebrate a great new discovery. He plucked 2 twisted paper tubes from his waistcoat pocket and offered one to the man, who quickly declared, No thank you, I never touched them, leading the priest to cock his head in dismay. You don't? He puzzled. Then what about the lighter? Oh, that, replied the man. Well, that's a long story. My son, this is a long train journey, and I have nothing but time, urged the priest. Very well. The man straightened as if preparing to undergo a long, arduous mission. He took a deep breath and began. 3 days ago, I was advised by my doctor to take a break from my hectic work schedule. I work in the food process industry, and the work-life balance can be quite intense. I suppose I was suffering from nervous exhaustion, almost verging on a breakdown. You should slow down, she said. If you don't, the consequences could be quite drastic for you. You must get away for a few days, go abroad, or just get out of the county. And so I spent some time trying to decide what to do, where to go. It was during this time I found myself one evening after work wandering through Paddington Station. I'm often there, you see. I commute to work. But on this day, my mind had drifted to thoughts of a getaway. So I wandered around, looking at all the destinations on the boards and at the different platforms and tracks. That's when I found myself standing at the terminal point of one of the tracks, watching a train slowly draw away on its mysterious journey to some far-flung location. At least, that was what was in my mind's eye. So as I stood there at the end of this very long line, disappearing off into the distance, suddenly a gust of wind whisked up some debris from the track. A variety of feathers dispersed and exposed a shiny object glinting in the evening sun. I was at once overcome with the desire to possess that object. So, looking around furtively to make sure of no prying eyes, I clambered onto the track, scooped it up, and placed it into my pocket, hauling myself quickly back up on the platform before anybody might notice. Then, like a naughty schoolboy, I hurried it off to the station and off to my quarters before reaching back into my pocket and taking the object out for a proper examination. To my surprise, it was an old-fashioned petrol lighter, but no ordinary model. On one side was etched the most beautiful and ornate jewel-encrusted engraving of an octopus, her body studded throughout the purest amber and emeralds. It was such a beautiful object that I couldn't take my eyes off it for several minutes, but instead sat there, transfixed by the beautiful craftsmanship whilst running my thumb over the incredible creation. After some time, I turned the piece over to reveal another engraving. This time carved in the most beautiful of handwriting were two names, Meg and Billy. I decided at once that these were two star-crossed lovers whose passion for each other was so great that even the most utilitarian of their possessions needed to be adorned with both recognition of their connection and beautiful gemstones. After all, what other explanation could there be for such a thing of beauty to have presented from one to the other? I was so enthralled with the idea of Megan, as I now imagined her, and William, that my heart somehow sunk, because something so precious to them as this had been lost. There was nothing else for it. I had to make it my mission to return it. But how could I do that? Where would I possibly begin? Of course, I thought to myself. Since I'd found the lighter on the track at Paddington Station, they must have dropped it whilst embarking or disembarking on the train there. But which train was it? A little detective work carried out the next morning back at the station quickly identified that particular track and terminal was the one line for the southwestern province of Kurna. Even better, I thought, as Kurna is renowned for its great natural beauty and character. What better place to begin my search? And what more likely place for such a romantic couple to hail from? So, the decision was made. That morning, I booked a ticket for Kurna, and since I had no idea what part of Kurna should be my destination, I simply booked a ticket for the furthest destination, the last stop, Land's End. The man paused to take a deep breath as if he was a runner in a marathon. His single audience member looked at him. "And so you are here? That explains it. What an interesting story." Placing another crumpled roll-up between his lips, he leaned forward. "Do you mind?" He gestured to the lighter again, as though seeking life be brought to his tobacco-filled cylinder. "Oh, yes, of course," the man responded, lifting the lighter towards the cigarette and flicking it open. But the priest halted his approach. No, he said. "I mean, do you mind if I take a closer look at this little treasure?" And with that, he turned his palm upwards, as if ready to receive the body of Christ. The man hesitated for a moment, as if he had come over all possessive of the object, but then after a moment's pause, he dropped the lighter into the priest's open hand. The priest turned the object over in his hands a couple of times, stopping to study the names etched together on the one side. Then, after a few minutes, he turned to the man with a knowing look. "Ah, yes, my friend," he started. "Do you see this letter B there? Well, in fact, that's not a letter B at all, but an ancient Kernan rune merely shaped like a B." "Really?" the man exclaimed. "Yes, and unless I'm mistaken, it represents the ancient Kernan word, ant, simply meaning and. So in fact, what you have here is not the names of two lovers, Meg Billy, but one longer word, Meg and Tilly." "Oh, you don't say." The man looked perplexed, but wait a minute. Why does that word sound familiar? "Well, it's a place in Kurna. It's actually a remote and secluded fishing village down on the south coast." The man was overcome with a new wave of excitement. Surely, fate had decreed that this was to be his new destination. "But wait, this train does not go there. I didn't see it on the list of stops." "No," replied the old man opposite, "but the train does stop at Snaz Hill, a little town not 5 miles from the village." "That settles it," the man exclaimed. "Snaz Hill it is." The man leaned back into the seat with a feeling of great satisfaction, as though he had solved a mystery that had been puzzling him for days. Weary now, he allowed his eyelids to drop and his mind to drift into darkness, which both relaxed him and loosened his grip on reality, as his subconscious beckoned him into the embrace of sleep. The strange, twisted, fused images and thoughts that accompany that first sojourn into the lands of slumber surrounded him. They whirled around in his head as though he were traveling through some strange tornado to a far distant land or dimension. One image was strongest, presenting itself more so than the rest. That same image kept appearing, coming and going, back and forth, in and out of the eye of the tornado until it became more and more clear and solid. It was the image of the octopus. Larger than life now, its eyes shining with pure amber and its body encrusted with a glowing emerald. It floated there in the ether and seemed to draw him even closer. Now he was pressed up against a huge pane of glass with the octopus hovering behind it as though a great glass tank, filled with water meters high. The creature was oscillating with its great tentacles flailing about in the water. Suddenly, in his vicinity came what looked like a man in an old-fashioned diving suit. The name Andy emblazoned across the chest, a long pipe attached to his helmet, presumably piping oxygen in. Strangely, Andy was carrying a mop and attempting to clean the vast tank that surrounded the octopus, but the creature was having none of it, knocking the mop out of Andy's hands with one tentacle and grappling the diver with several other of his sucker-laden flailing limbs. Whilst the scene was quite shocking and a little disturbing, the dreamer was not sure why the scene was starting to fill him with fear until at once he realized. Suddenly, he himself was the man in the diving suit, and the great creature was beginning to writhe and punch his way towards him. As he tried to pull himself free and create some space between himself and the creature, he now felt a huge tentacle descending upon him, touching his left shoulder, latching itself firmly onto him and shaking him over and over, and Snaz Hill came the thundering tone in the man's left ear as the conductor shook him awake. The man woke with a start, and for a minute tried to adjust to his surroundings back on the train. It was a dream, thank God. He slowly composed himself and clambered up, reaching for his bag, preparing to leave the train. Then, remembering the old priest who had kept him company for some time, he quickly glanced at the seat opposite, but there was no sign of the priest. End of Act 1. It's quite a little story, and let me tell you, I've had the luxury of being able to read the entirety of it, and it's got some great atmosphere, some really very good detail that goes into it. It's honestly very impressive to see my dad write such a story, and then his best mate Gaz draw all these. It really brings this kind of a creation and project to life, and again, this is now a physical graphic novel comic. You can buy this. You can buy this through the Escape Gallery in Mevagissey. I've even got a link. Hang on, I can share some stuff with you, because I believe you'd want to be able to see a little bit of that. Let's see. If I do this. So, the website for the gallery itself is Escape to Art. Let me go ahead and just fix that for you there. That's better. Is Escape to Art. And yet again, you can see all the other kind of work, the artists that are involved in everything, and other works that you can also buy in varieties of forms. But this is the place where you yourself would pick up the magazine, which, again, if you don't live in Cornwall and you don't really have the capability of getting down there, completely understandable. But if you go through the website, there are ways to contact them to potentially order your own physical copies as well. But in the future, we're also, yet again, going to have some other varieties, including a full video audiobook version with proper voice acting and everything. I'm very excited to really be working on that video myself. You can also support the Escape Gallery in Meva through their Instagram here, escapegallery_Meva. And I believe we can hang out for just another minute or two if you'd like, because we do actually have both the author, my father Mark, and Gary Farr, in the chat, the artist himself, who also runs the gallery. If you guys wanted to ask any other questions to them real quick before we wrap up. Yet again, I did think this would be a very long live stream, but I figured I'd give you a little bit more time if you need it, just to be on the safe side. Well, I should have most of the links in the description below if you want to check any of the things out yourself. But yeah, I mean, if you have the capability of going to the art gallery yourself, that's the best way to do it, in my opinion. And again, maybe you don't need the comic. Maybe you want a little bit more of the artwork. Maybe you want it in a t-shirt. Maybe you want it as an actual, canvas up on your wall. I have a funny feeling they can help you out with that too. So I'll give just a second here. I'll tell you what, I do have other... Let's go to... I'll tell you what, let's do this. I can go ahead, get the chat box up, so I can even get it on the screen. Just refresh. Excellent. Okay, you can't see it at the moment, but the chat box is up on the screen. And yes, I'm not going to show you any more because, yet again, if you want the rest of the story for yourself, there will be ways to get it yourself, whether it be physical or, yet again, you might end up getting the video audiobook version that will be released at one point with the voice acting and stuff. There will be ways. There will be ways to show support. There will be ways to acquire it. I mean, if you're even super lucky, you might even be able to get it signed as well. I'm just saying that any of this is very possible. Any of this is very possible. We go ahead and turn the music off now. I think we're good on that. It was good creepy background music, but I think we're good with that. So, any other live questions at the moment? Otherwise, this will be available in VOD form once the live stream is over. So it's not like you can't rewatch this at any point in time. Definitely feel free to, and take advantage of the links in the description below to check out the art gallery itself, to show your support, and potentially even maybe get yourself a copy of Lure of the Krakmoth in physical form. It's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. I'm sure there might be other ways to acquire it as well. I don't know the full details yet, but I do know that we're going to be working on, like I said, the full video audiobook version, which I'm quite excited to sink my teeth further into. I think it's going to be really good. Signed copies for friends of this channel. Look at that. And Mr. Floopy, it's okay that you're late. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. You can always rewatch the live reading of Act 1. It's in here, and it's going to be in a VOD form in the end anyway. So don't even worry about it. But yes, it seems like signed copies for friends of this channel, which is very exciting. That's going to be very nice. I'll do a little bit more talking with them as well, and see if we can maybe get a little link together, so that way I can post it on the YouTube channel itself and other social networks that I tend to use. So that way we can really see about getting some like exclusive run of this. I think it'd be really fun. Get some like exclusive copies with maybe some like signatures and stuff like that. I think that'd be really really cool. And again, probably what we'll also end up doing once we've had the full audio book version go out as well, because that's going to be a more digestible video form, which you can still use in audio as well for like probably Spotify and things. We'll probably end up doing a proper little live Q&A with both my dad and Gaz. I think that'll be really exciting to really kind of, probe their brain about, the inspirations they went through and the process and things like that. It'd be really exciting. Really, really exciting. So don't worry. There's tons of things coming. Tons of really cool things coming. Any other last-minute questions for the author or for Gaz? Because if not, we'll save them for the Q&A in the future. It's not today, of course. Not today, of course. We weren't ready for it today, so. No, that's okay. What we'll probably do then is we'll go ahead and wrap up for now. This has been a super fun, special little live stream for the Act 1 reading of The Lure of the Krakmoth. I've quite enjoyed it. I've quite enjoyed sharing a very atmospheric and dripping with detail little snippet of the story for you. It goes somewhere. It's got some very big Lovecraftian inspiration behind it. Trust me, like the further you read into it, you'll be like, 100%. If it goes some very good directions. It's very interesting. And you even if you were eagle-eyed in that story while I was going through, there was a page in particular that I might go ahead and just bring up to you again real quick, if you bear with me, simply because it teases a future thing as well. That's all you're gonna get. That's the tease right there. This is not this is real. Coming soon, the Matador. That will be a real story. Just letting you know. Looks like it's fairly quiet at the moment. That's okay. We'll go ahead and wrap up for now, but I will work with my dad and Gaz to set up for a live Q&A in the future, and I think it'll be really exciting. Really, really look forward to that. Thank you all so much for hanging out and hopefully enjoying Act 1 of Lure of the Krakmoth. Yet again, use the links in the description below to find out how to get a copy of it for yourself. I would recommend going through escape2.art. That is the Escape Gallery's official website, where you can check out even other artwork as well and make some purchases if you like. It's a fantastic little time. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We've had a great time sharing this little snippet of the story with you, and I can't wait to, record the rest of it, really. Alrighty, everybody. Thank you so very much. Take care out there.